All right. We never made it across the bridge. Okay. And the line begins with one hazeh. Amem hey. And this is 8 lines from the top. So the Rishima is in the form of a nekudah, but this nekudah incorporates the entire oir that preceded it, except it has it in a nekudah form. I was in a contracted, in a reduced form, not in full surfacing and fully impression, fully glory, but completely concealed, contained within itself. This is not nekudah. But this nekudah includes everything that's going to be nisgala in Seder Hishtalshelus. As we discussed yesterday, this principle, she's gala b'chol Seder Hishtalshelus. And yet, this entire oil that's in this nekudah has no significance relative to the oil in soif that preceded the tzimtzum. I don't know if you read these words or you didn't. This is that line. The kolos oil hazeh ein etoipus smokim klal. This oil of the nekudah, overall, regardless of what it contains, is not toifus mokim, has no significance. Legabe ha'oir ein soif shelifnei hatzimtzum. Relative to the oil ein soif, that's before the tzimtzum. Yes, indeed, this nekudah contains everything that will be misgala in the world throughout the entire Seder Hishtalshelus. But the oil in soif shelifnei hatzimtzum, this is oil in soif itself. This is truly representative of atzmos. And then may continue for be'emes. These are mentioned not simply because we have already explained many times that the principle of oil in soif means that it is representative atzmos. Because it cannot be an accumulation of ein soif. Or be'emes. And in truth, nichlal b'nekudah zu, in this nekudah is also included gam bechinas atzmus ha'oir, even the aspect of atzmus ha'oir, the etzem of the oir, she'ein b'yerech u'b'geder elam esklal, that is totally beyond the realm and the principle of worlds, because it's etzem oir. Except that this only Yonim in this nekudah, particularly we're talking about etzem ha'oir, is all behelam. We have already chewed over all these various terms, various principles, but just to keep us abreast, that even bechinas etzem ha'oir, that is completely beyond world, the etzem ha'oir means the oir that is not the union of oir, but the union of atzmos. As we pointed out, that the etzem, by virtue of being of an etzem, affects its presence by being an etzem. Like we said, I don't know if I should go just quickly. The principle that Chassidus explains, that the sun is an etzem behiri. There's the oil hashemesh that that emanates from the sun, and I can journey and travel. Then there is the presence of the sun itself. The presence of the sun itself renders its entire surrounding brings it into a bright state, way beyond the principle that the air illuminates it. It changes the surrounding because this is an etzem. And in the presence of etzem, everything becomes like the etzem. Therefore, this etzem ha'oyer, this is an entirely different concept. It's not even oyer. It's etzem oyer, which means it's oyer that is there because the etzem is there, not because of the functionality of the effect of oyer. In this nekudah is also included bechinas etzem oyer. And the importance of this is, and significance of this, and the effect of this is that oil in itself, no matter how bright and convincing it is lacking a principal reality. Oil, you always ask the question, where is this oil coming from? On etzem, that question does not exist. Because the etzem actually represents the fundamental reality itself. I'm going to leave it for now because you'll never get out of this. Yeah.
How do we say that it's not typhus makam at all? If it has the etzem in it, and it's the whole panemius is included in it. Why would it be? When the reality is there.
It's not typhus makam legabe hoyer in seif.
And even the iron safe is just the difference is that that there is spashtis is over there, whereas in the nekudah there's no.
We explain, Nachama. Why is there hispashtus?
Because the etzem makes it.
Because etzem is everywhere, so it's etzem. This hispashtus represents etzem. It's a completely different realm than oil. Do you get the point? You understand? Right. I won't get away without giving us a little bit of a hand on this. We speak that a man has a place in the world, has a home. AyinBase and this bias, this is the aura of the human being. This is not the human being. This is deep. But there is a etzem, the very essence, the fact that there is a human being here, that makes it a home. Now, in this home, there's furnishings. These furnishings are representative of that oil. They don't have no comparison to the etzem oil, and the etzem oil has no comparison to the human being himself. In other words, when he gets into a home, then he can draw from that furnishings. Before he got into the home, he also had his etzem.
You can draw from that at home.
Huh?
Right, yeah, okay.
Before he got into the home, he also had his etzem. But that etzem you couldn't even identify through furnishings.
Right, so I guess the way that I was thinking about it, that the Rishima represented like the person himself, whereas the Orin Seif was like the hispashtus of the person throughout the home. And
the Rishima represented the person after expression, after he's in the home. Why does he get into the home in the first place? We're talking.
That sickness
What?
expresses his shlichus in the way, his etzem, his who he is. He needs a.
It expresses it. Where did you get that? We said the human being is a human being the minute he's born. He's not capable of running a home. Everything else is drawn from that. This is the real thing.
Why is there a shima the person after he's gotten into a home? In other words, you say that the entire
Because
in
a home, that means that he's not just in the world, but there's a demarcation area. He has a definition. You identify him as a presence of any.
I'm just what in the nimshal is leading us to correlate that with the mashal that he's already in the home. In other words, the nimshal.
The rishima is a pshat.
Yeah.
That you remove the entire Ayin Sof to facilitate revealing what's contained therein, which is the rishima. This is what happens when you put a person in a home that facilitates to reveal what's the human being about.
So the Ayin Sof would be like the person, really the essence, like the neshama itself, like before any kind of.
They're a human being, as I said, at birth you give them a name. This is the reality itself. That reality is incomparably superior to entering into a home. Even though he's got to go that somewhere. Now we have it tangibly. Okay, let's continue. B'derech klal, in general, what is the overall view of the neshima? Shekileles kol bechinas ha'oir sheyizgala ba'elamis, that incorporates all bechinas ha'oir, all aspects of oir that will surface in worlds. Shezehu bechinas nekudah levad legabi ha'oir in seif. This element itself, that this is an oir that can surface in world, already defines it as a nekudah, a small element relative to the Ayin Sof. Any oir that can be in Isgala in world has no way to compare it to Ayin Sof. And from this nekudah nimshach hakav. Then the kav is drawn from this nekudah. The kav. This is the kav. The word kav means a line. Essentially, it means a line of points of nekudas, and every spot on the kav is like another nekudah, one nekudah below the other nekudah. That's what a kav. Lahaves ha'elamis, to bring about the creation of the worlds, ulahoyir bahem, and to shine in them. The kav consists of, I said, the many nekudas, each nekudah below the other, which means each nekudah creates and enables another level in worlds. But the most important thing is that oil that comes into this in this world is Lahoyer Bahem, can illuminate the world. And illumination of the world means that this oil has an element of contraction, an element of limit, so that the world is able to accept this oil. This is true bichlolus oilamus in worlds in general. This is how worlds in general. There's many worlds. Each world is a complete containment of all the various aspects of a world, and in each world there is an oyer eliki that illuminates it. This oyer eliki, even though he doesn't mention it here, Olahoyer means to illuminate it with an oyer eliki. The importance of this oyer we have to understand it. This cannot be overstated. The importance of this oyer eliki is that which gives the world the presence. The principle that Rambam says, that the first principle is to know that there is a first being. This is what gives everything a being. Without the first being, there is no being. This metal, the oyer key, is lahoyer bahem, to illuminate the world. And if I may step off just for a moment, if you look at the table without the human effect on it, what do you see? A meaningless structure. When you have the oil from the nefesh ha'odam, the human, at a very simple level, still there is an oil to it. There's a significance, there's a meaning to it. That's the living element in the world. So this is true in the worlds in general, in all the worlds. Likewise, who behanekudah protis. The same is true in nekudah protis, in the specific aspect of nekudah, the bechin as chochma da'atzilus. Of the chochma da'atzilus. Shehi bechinas yud d'shem havaya. Chochma da'atzilus. This is the aspect of the yud d'shem havaya. In brief, Shem Havaya is Yud Kei Vav Kei. And the principle of Yud Kei Vav Kei is that it represents the principle of Seder Hishtalshelus. That Seder Hishtalshelus is that it begins from it. The first protrusion, the first revelation is the Yud, which means there is an initial gilui from above, because a yud has no hispashus. It means just, as I said, to say that there is a truth, there is an oyer. This is the yud. Then, once this is gala, then this is mispashet, and this reveals the oyers that's contained in the form. This is the form of the K, of the first K. This is like chochma and bina. And then afterwards, he says further down into the lower spheres. So the Chochmah Atzilus is bechinas Yud Hashem Havai. Shezehu gam kin bechinas hanekudah, where again this is the similar inyan. This is the bechina of the nekudah shenisharo achar hatzimtzum, that remains after the tzimtzum. Li yesh bechinas mokor lo ilamois, and to provide for the union of mokor to be a mokor for a source for worlds.
When he says over here, "Beklaus illuminate," and now the practice, the klal and prat, that I thought Klaus illuminate was referring to worlds that were lifnei tzimtzum.
Now what?
Lifnei tzimtzum.
No, this is all after the tzimtzum.
So, what's the reference? The Klaus and the practice. Practice is the world's abiyah. Klaus includes other worlds.
Right. Close or Elamis means worlds in general, the possibility of worlds. Then we come to our level, what's called the Seder of Abiyah Atzilus B'ri Yitzir Asiyah, where we discuss in detail what's Atzilus, what's B'ri, what's Yitzir, what's Asiyah. Close or Elamis we hardly ever go into understanding what is worlds in general, in terms of detail. But in general, we do identify that. We say that klolos or ilamis are derivatives of a nekudah or shim, of a nekudah, which is a reshim from the oil in Sof. This reshim of oil in Sof, this is what provides the worlds with all its service, with all its basis for everything that can possibly be surfacing in the world. The principle of klolus ha'ilmus is similar to what we say all the time, that the union of chokhmah is not the identification of a given truth. The union of chokhmah is that there is such thing as chas truth. This is a reflection of Ayin Sof. In other words, it does not have a full grasp of it. It's a reflection of it, that there is such a thing as a lukus. This is what klolos ha'ilmus. Worlds, right in the onset of the principle of world, means that it's only an allusion to the godly truth. It is not the very essence of it. This is the pshat world. Like we said all the way in the beginning, we emphasized it at the beginning. It's on the same page. Ha'ora me'erin sof. Ha'ora me'erin sof. What is ha'ora me'erin sof? It actually brings the message of Ayin Sof, but only a message of Ayin Sof, not the essence of it. That's called ha'ora. So this is, it says in Olamis in general, the whole phenomenon that there's such thing as worlds, and then the Panderach Prat, the way it is, so to speak, at our level, Atzilus and so forth. And then there is the Chochmah Atzilus, which is the Yud Hashem Havai. Which is effectively the oil that remains from the after the tzimtzum. This nekudah facilitates, and it becomes, it provides for the for chokhmah to become a mokoin for oilamus. What does it mean? A mocker loyal matzah, which is already a world. So we say no. This is what's called mocker loyals. Only a source for worlds. Shaharei iker ho'elamis. Since that the principle of world, when does the union of world fully express itself? Hen elamis biyah is first in elamis biyah, starting from B'riyah Yitzir Asiyah. This is where the principle of elamis fully express themselves. Va'atzilus, and Atzilus hu ha'memutza. Atzilus is the intermediary ben Oir Ein Sof lo Oiramis. So Atzilus is not a world in the full sense of the word. It's an intermediary between Oir Ein Sof and Oiramis.
What's the relationship of the Rishima and the Atzilus? Why it seems like you were saying that Atzilus already is, and then there's the tzimtzum and then nekudah. But isn't there some kind of a tzimtzum for there to be Atzilus?
That's what we said. There is a kav. The whole Seder Ishtalshus from the Rishima going down all the way until it reaches the level of Atzilus. And up in relative terms, that which is above Atzilus is called Ein Sof. Even Kesser is called Ein Sof. Relative to Biyah, it is Ein Sof. And Atzilus then becomes like the Rishima of Ein Sof. Even though Atzilus is a world, but it's not a world in the full sense as Biyah is. The real Biyah of worlds begins from Biyah HaProti. It was Biyah at this level, which we will have to defer for tomorrow. Okay? Have a good day. Okay.